I grew up in the pines of East Texas, where the woods stretch for miles and the night gets so dark you can't see your own hand in front of your face. I thought I knew those woods better than anyone, but last winter, something out there reminded me I don't know a damn thing. Alright, so to start this one off, I don't know, man. I live out in East Texas, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that you don't, really know. You think you know it, you don't really do. You really don't. It started with the howls. Coyotes aren't unusual, but these were different. Too long, too deep, almost like a person trying to imitate a coyote. My dog, Rusty, would whine and press himself against the back door every time they started up. Now, if the dog is scared of howls, usually dogs aren't really scared of coyotes. But if they're scared of that, like a howl, and you think something's trying to imitate a coyote, you might be cooked, you know? One night, Rusty went missing. I searched for hours, calling until my throat went raw, but he didn't come back until sunrise. When he did, he wasn't the same. He had scratches down his side, his fur clumped with dried blood, and his eyes, I swear, they looked wrong, like he had seen something he shouldn't have. This is a telltale sign that you are completely fucked. If this happens to you, if you're seeing this, if this happens to you, bro, please get the fuck away from wherever you are at. That was the first night I noticed the tracks. Half paw, half foot, pressed deep into the frozen mud behind my shed. I noticed them about 50 yards into the tree before they just stopped. No turn, no backtrack, no break in the leaves, just gone. Well, that genuinely just can't happen, so you know you're dealing with something supernatural. You need to stop thinking rationally and start trying to think like something that isn't real, okay? I told my neighbor Henry about it the next day. He lives about a mile down the road, an old timer who's hunted these woods his entire life. He just went pale and said, "Don't follow it again. Whatever it don't want to be followed." Old Henry here is giving you some good words of advice now. You need to take them. That night, I woke up to someone calling my name outside my window. At first, I thought it was Henry. The voice sounded like him, gruff and tired. But when I looked outside, I didn't see Henry. I saw Henry's outline. Same hat, same jacket, but he was too tall. His arms hung lower than they should. His shoulders too broad. Then it smiled, and it wasn't Henry's smile. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I drove to Henry's place. He answered the door looking like hell. Said he hadn't left the house since sundown yesterday. Said he'd heard me outside his window, calling his name. Well, yeah, you're kind of fucked if the both of y'all weren't there and y'all saw each other, you know? So let's evacuate before anything terrible happens. That's when I realized it wasn't after Henry. It wasn't after me. It was after the both of us. The thing wanted us to believe it was someone we trusted. It wanted us to let it in. 2 nights later, I woke up to Rusty's barking like I'd never heard before. Deep, panicked, like he was about to tear through the door. I grabbed my rifle and stumbled out of bed. There, standing in my kitchen, was me. Same hair, same clothes I'd fallen asleep in. Same scar on my chin. It was holding my coffee, sipping like it had lived here its whole life. Only difference was the eyes. Too wide, too dark, fixed on me with this hunger. So that's obviously not fucking you, buddy. Uh, unless you have a mirror that, makes your eyes wide as fuck. It's time to leave. Rusty lunged before I could even raise the rifle. The thing dropped the mug, shattering it across the floor, and bolted through the back door into the woods. I haven't seen it since, but sometimes, at night, Rusty still growls at the tree line, and sometimes, just before I fall asleep, I hear my own voice whispering from outside the window. That is story one. That's terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if that happened to me, I would have not slept in that house another day. Not another night. I would be checking up on my neighbor too. It's best if we both, like, since it's after both of them, it would be best if we both grouped up and slept somewhere we knew was safe and we didn't trust what seemed to be normal anymore. I work the late shift at a grocery store. Most nights I'm the last one out, locking up at midnight. By then, the parking lot is always empty, except for my car sitting under one flickering streetlight. Alright, so if I knew I have the last shift and it's the night shift, I'm definitely parking my car as close to the store as possible. Not just because I'm scared, just because, like, of convenience and because I'm a little bit scared. Last week, as I pushed open the doors, I noticed someone standing at the far edge of the lot. Too far to make out a face, but close enough that I knew they weren't just passing by. I'm thinking this story's taking place today, like he wrote the story the day it happened. So I'm thinking, like, maybe you should have told your manager that there was people stalking around during closing at midnight. At first, I thought it was a customer who lingered too long, but they weren't moving. Not scrolling their phone, not smoking, not shifting their weight. Just standing there, angled directly towards me. I walked fast, keys in hand, trying not to look again. When I slid into my car and locked the doors, my hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the keys. Then I glanced in the mirror. The figure was closer. Now, if that's me, man, by the time this guy got the keys in the ignition and is turning on the car, I'm already gone. I'm halfway to the crib and I'm on the phone with the police. I'm gone, man. Like, I sprinted, I saw him and I sprinted to the car and he didn't even know what happened. Not halfway across the lot, not walking toward me, just suddenly closer, like I'd blinked and they jumped 30 feet, still standing perfectly still staring. My stomach nodded, but I started the engine. That's when my headlights lit them up, and what I saw made my blood run cold. They weren't standing anymore. They were crawling fast. Their arms and legs slammed against the pavement, jerking unnaturally, like an animal imitating a person. Their eyes caught the light, wide, gleaming, and too white. See me, bro? I saw him crawling, or nah, not even crawling. I saw him get closer, and I threw that bitch in the drive, or if you have a manual, I threw that bitch in the first. I'm gone, man. You're not gonna see me around no more. I would have been out of there the second I saw him. I floored it out of there, tires squealing, heart in my throat. The figure disappeared in the dark behind me, swallowed by the lot. I didn't breathe until I hit the main road. I told myself I was imagining it. Stress, too much caffeine. But 2 nights later, after another late shift, I walked out to find muddy handprints across the hood of my car. 5 distinct fingers, too big to be mine, smeared across the metal like something had crouched there waiting. And last night, I didn't even make it to the car, because when I stepped out the door, the figure wasn't at the far end of the lot anymore. It was crouched by my car, and its head turned toward me the instant I moved. Now, this story ends on a cliffhanger, and we don't really know what happens next, but I'm guessing he went back inside and called someone to come and help him. Honestly, if it was me after the first encounter, I would have quit my job. I don't care if I thought I was imagining it. If I'm that stressed at this job to where I'm imagining things like that, I don't need this job that much. I worked nights at a gas station just off the highway. It was always quiet, 1 or 2 cars an hour, the occasional trucker stopping for coffee. I'd close up at midnight, count the drawer, and head home. That night started like any other, until I noticed the clock. The wall clock said 11:47, my phone said 11:47, the register, the cooler display, every clock in the place was frozen. I thought it was some power glitch, but then midnight hit, or should have. I stepped out to shut down the pumps, and the air felt strange, heavy. The hum of the highway was gone. No cars, no insects, just silence. See, at this point, I would have already been back inside. Second I noticed that, I'm going back inside and I'm locking up, and I'm trying to call someone, just call anyone. Then I blinked, and I was back behind the counter, stocking gum like I had 20 minutes earlier. The clock read 11:47 again. It happened over and over. Customers walked in with the same expressions, the same words. One guy buying cigarettes even sneezed at the exact same moment each time. I tried everything. Hiding in the bathroom, running out of the back door, even driving off. But each time, the moment I blinked, I was back behind the counter at 11:47. See, this is terrifying. Like, this is one of my worst fears. Like, whenever I see a clock that stopped working, I'm like, has time stopped? Am I in some sort of loop? Or is this just like a glitch? And every time it's just been a glitch, man. But hopefully, this never happens to me. That's when I noticed him. At first, he stood at the far end of the lot, by the highway, just a figure in the dark. Every loop, he was closer, standing at the pumps, then at the doors, then pressed against the glass, palms flat, his mouth moving silently. That is absolutely terrifying, man. Like, if this happened to me, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I had a plan for every situation now, but blinking is something you do, I think they say 52 times a minute or 152 times a minute, I don't know. You do that so often that he's going to be getting closer every time, and you can't go long without blinking, man. I really have no plan for this one. By the 10th loop, I stopped pretending I wasn't terrified. I pressed myself behind the counter, praying the lights wouldn't flicker. On the 12th loop, when I blinked back into place, he was already inside, inches from me. His jaw opened too wide, his eyes stretched wide and glassy. The skin around his mouth slit like paper as he leaned closer, breath cold against my face. The lights buzzed, flickered, and for the first time, the clock changed. I wouldn't know what to do. I would have been so happy that that clock had changed. Just the slight hope that maybe the clock changing would end the loop would make me so happy, man. Like, oh my goodness. I would never go back again, honestly. 11:48. Everything went black. When I woke up, the sun was shining through the windows. Customers walked in like nothing had happened. The register ticked along. Time moved normally again. But now, every night, I set alarms for 11:47 because I know if time ever freezes again, he won't just be waiting outside. He'll be waiting right next to me. Yeah, no, nah. Yeah, I think after the first loop, I would have left. Never, ever even touched that stretch of highway again, let alone the gas station, man. But yeah, that is all for today's video, y'all. If you did enjoy and would like to hear me do more of these stories, please do like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments or go to my Instagram, R2Easy, or my TikTok, DeCoven 2.0. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.